Hey everyone, Claire here with a quick tip on testing components. Now, there are quite a few ways to test components in your libraries, but today I'll mostly focus on visually testing updates or additions to your library. One method will use the swap instance menu, and the other method will use paste to replace. The first thing we'll do is create a file that houses all of your core flows and use cases. This will serve as a template meant to be duplicated, and we can call it something like template sandbox testing file or playground file. In this example, I put each flow or product area on its own page, just so each of them have a separate testing space. We'll use the sandbox file for both of these testing methods, and the idea is that this file is easily accessible by folks who are doing the testing and quality checks. So let's start with this mobile example where we want to test this new button exploration. We've already made those changes within a branch or file and brought that new button into our sandbox file as a plain frame, not connected as an instance. We'll turn it into a local component, making sure that the naming and structure match, and then let's select all the instances of our button on this page. I'll select one of them and run the command select all with same instance. I'm then going to go over to the swap instance menu where I'll look for the page with my local component and then select the component I want to test. After clicking it, we'll be able to visually see what our flow looks like with this new component. Now, to take this to the next level, we can also introduce some visual regression testing using slices. So to start over, I'm going to undo that swap. I'm going to create a slice over my entire flow using the hotkey S. I'm then going to export that slice to use as the before image and drag that image from my downloads folder into Figma. I'll then do the same swap instance flow we did earlier by going into the swap instance menu and afterwards again export that same slice. Bringing our newly exported slice in, I now have a before and after image of my flow. By placing them on top of each other, I can see my changes while toggling the layer visibility and changing the opacity. Having the before and after in the file without having to go through version history can be a faster way to communicate those propagated changes with any stakeholders. This method is best suited for components that have resizing behavior since overrides will pass through. Just be sure that the naming and layers all match. In a case where you want to test a component with an entirely new layer structure or doesn't have any overrides to pass through, this second method is much faster and uses paste to replace. So in this example, we've brought over our updated design, which in this case is an empty state graphic, and turned it into a local component. We'll then copy the component and same as before, select all with same instance. Once we have our selection, we can then use paste to replace, allowing us to visualize our changes in context. You can use the quick actions bar to find paste to replace, but I prefer to use the shortcut Command-Shift-R. This second method is super fast, and you can also use this method in conjunction with the visual regression testing method I shared earlier. You probably already have some component testing methods you're using, so if you'd like to share, feel free to let us know in the comments. Hope this was helpful, and I'll see you next time.